This is a typical cell in one of the most notorious prisons ever built in Europe. The accommodations are sparse. This is not some Victorian dungeon. This is 1980s Northern Ireland. It's a prison built next to a British military base. Its name, the Maze. The Maze is not just secure, it's a hellhole. Guards control the prisoners with an iron fist. This is because the Maze prisoners aren't ordinary prisoners. Most are here for taking part in a bloody conflict known as the Troubles.
Troubles is what the Irish, in their penchant for understatement, called their unsettled, uncivil war.
No combination of tunneling, cunning disguises, or brute force is going to solve the riddle of getting out of this lockbox. But of the 833 prisoners here in 1983, there are some who are willing to try.
I was doing 2 lives and 25 years. That meant I was staying in jail for the rest of my life. If I didn't escape, that was my life from that point on.
Jerry Kelly isn't alone in his desire to escape. Another IRA member is also desperate to get out. Brendan Bick McFarlane. Bick McFarlane is in the Maze serving a life sentence for his part in an attack and bombing of a bar. Jerry and Bick began working with a larger group of IRA inmates on an escape plan. It's not one prison, it's several. There are 8 self-contained prison blocks known as H blocks. Only one plan seems feasible: commandeering a delivery truck and filling it with prisoners. But in order to hijack a truck, you first have to have control of an H block. The committee elects as its leader famed IRA veteran Bobby Story.
Bobby was kind of a legend because he was such a highly active operator. He finally got jammed up on a gun possession charge, and that's what he landed in the Maze for.
With Bobby's guidance, the men quickly decide that the only way to pull off a mass escape is by taking over H Block 7's restricted area, the crossbar of the H.
The guards would have been in that sort of middle area.
The crossbar also contains the H Block's only exit, and it's where the delivery trucks arrive.
Jobs were crucial to the escape.
Prisoners may be allowed in the restricted areas to clean, but under no circumstances are they allowed in the control room. Its door must remain locked at all times. The conspirators realize their only chance of getting in is to cultivate friendships with the guards.
The IRA prisoners suddenly started being nice to the guards.
And we did this for weeks and weeks and weeks until it ended up padlock was off, door was open.
With the door open, the escapees still need to figure out how they can subdue a guard in the control room, because with a flick of his wrist, he could alert the authorities in mere seconds. They're going to need something brazen and bold, something that would be impossible to obtain within the walls of the prison.
What they needed was arms and ammunition smuggled into the prison.
To this day, the IRA has never disclosed how the guns got in there. It's the $64,000 question, but I think the IRA is protecting people that help them get the guns.
With access to the control room and an arsenal of guns stashed close by, the prisoners have all they need to get out of H Block 7. But that doesn't get them out of the Maze, not even close. They need to secure the truck that can get dozens of them to freedom, so it would not raise suspicion leaving the Maze's main gate. That is, of course, as long as the guard driving it does not give them away.
We needed a prisoner lying on the floor to hold that prison guard, the driver, to direct the truck out of the jail. I was picked as the prisoner who would take that job.
September 1983. Bick makes his way to the restricted zone. He's tasked with making sure the coast is clear and giving the signal to start the escape.
The escape officially began with Bick McFarland yelling "Bumper," the name of the floor polishing machines. So once "Bumper" was yelled, it was on.
Each man grabs his weapon.
Bobby Story produced his weapon. He cocked it for effect. And he said it quietly, "Get on the ground." And they looked up and laughed at him, thought it was a joke in the middle of the most secure prison in Europe. It's not a joke. Get on the ground, do exactly what you're saying, it'll be okay. If you don't, we've got guns.
Jerry Kelly's next job is to take over the control room in the restricted zone.
I point the weapon in through the grill. I knew the prison guard it was on, and I said, "John, this is an IRA operation. This is a gun. I need you to do exactly what I tell you." And he got down on the ground.
All guards who were arrested were brought to a classroom, took the uniforms from whichever ones we needed.
The escapees now have complete control over the H-block guards. The team moves into the second part of their plan. Wait for the food truck to arrive. The driver is greeted at gunpoint. The message is clear. Do what we say or else.
Now that they're in control of the food truck, 37 prisoners pile into the back, and that is now the escape vehicle that they hope will drive them out of the maze complex and to freedom.
Finally, the truck reaches the security building near the main gate. Here, 9 prisoners disguised in guard uniforms get out of the truck. They force the security guards in the building at gunpoint to give them the official pass needed at the next gate, the British military gate.
A guard coming off duty, he looked in and he could see there was something wrong, and he ran, blowing the security whistle for the alarm. So I ran over to Bobby and I said, "Bobby, that's the alarm." Bobby said to me, "Open the front gate of the jail."
At this point, the original plan of using the food truck to drive the prisoners out of the maze complex to freedom has collapsed.
All of our guys in civilian clothes jumped out of the back of the truck, which meant we now had 38 people. The prison guards had a number of people coming on, 30 to 40 inside, so you had a melee of anywhere up to about 80 or 90 people. Prison guards, IRA prisoners, fighting in that area. So we made a run for the gate, fought our way out to the front.
After clearing the military fence, the escapees splinter further into groups.
It didn't take long, for the authorities to set up checkpoints, and news of the escape spread fairly quickly.
But the long reach of the British government eventually nabs both Jerry Kelly and Bick McFarland in Amsterdam. They are sent back to the same H-block they had worked so hard to get free of. The maze breakout cost the life of 1 guard and injured 20 more. It was a violent and traumatic escape. Bick McFarland was released from the maze for the last time in 1997. Jerry Kelly got out in 1989 and became a politician. He helped negotiate the end of the Troubles with the 1998 Good Friday Agreement. Part of the agreement was the release of many prisoners at the maze. In 2000, the notorious prison was closed and partially demolished. Only one of the H blocks was kept intact in the hope that one day it might be transformed into a museum of peace.